All right, and welcome everyone to session 3 of Mechwarrior Destiny, Salvaged Destiny, a Mechwarrior Destiny actual play that I am running with a bunch of my friends, some cool people that I've been playing RPGs with for the better part of I don't know, a couple of years or something. It's I don't know, too long with Aaron as is tradition, but I digress. With that being said, I am Dare Wolf, the game master, and below on the screen you'll see a bunch of cool people, and they're going to introduce themselves, and then we're going to have a special intro from none other than Willow. So, Lawrence, why don't you take it away? Tell us who you are and tell us who you're playing.
Hi, I'm Anders. I really be whatever people want to refer to me as is fine. I'm playing Lawrence Weber, uh, Lyran Commonwealth / Federated Commonwealth Mechwarrior, who has recently picked up a new signature move, beating people in the back of the head, and yeah, that's about it.
They call that the Australian special.
I love it. I love it. Willow, take it away, Strom.
I'm Strom. You can find me at Strom Plays on YouTube and Twitch, and at Strom12341 on the Twitters. I'll be playing Willow, who's a bit of a wisecracking, quick-witted, snarky asshole.
A little aside, Strom has been running some really cool old RPGs over on his Twitch page, so if you are into that sort of thing, definitely give him a like and a follow, but I digress. Steve.
Hi, I'm Steve. I'll be playing Cyprian Devon, the idealistic, bit of a tinkerer, bit of a thinker. Not really down with the whole Mechwarrior thing, but that's what his dad said that he was going to do, so that's what he's going to do with his life.
Very good. And last, and certainly not least, maybe least, I don't know, Aaron, take it away.
Yeah, at least you have a dad, dude. Hey guys, what's up? I'm Aaron. I am playing Callum Van Buren, the ward of the state of the Federated Commonwealth, formerly of the Free Rasselhag Republic. He's a mech warrior. Last session, he learned two very important things. Number one, he doesn't care how you feel about him when you're in the field. He's got your back. Number two, never stooge the unit.
Well stated. Well stated. And just to set the scene, we're going to open with, and Strom, I'm going to let you have that intro as well, of course, but we're going to open with this apartment building that Willow was next to. There was that young girl who was given the suitcase, a little tiny little briefcase with the countdown timer on it. She passed it to a gentleman that you had noticed was was dressed like trying to hide the fact that he had palace guard fatigues on underneath his outer clothing. And the flames from this building, it is completely engulfed. You hear sirens all around you. There's emergency vehicles coming in. But I want to give you a moment just to do a quick little recap from Willow's perspective and take it away, good sir.
You are muted.
You're muted, as is tradition.
As is tradition. All right. After finally getting off base for some much-needed R&R, I was reminded of the ugliness and desperation of the world outside the base. I followed a girl being extorted to deliver a bomb to a secret den with palace guards, whatever that's about. After hurrying her away from the blast zone, the bomb went off. I hope the rest of the squad has managed to detain that scumbag who set her up to do this.
Beautiful. Beautiful. And as we once again return to that scene we just described, the heat from this building is so intense that the hairs on your arms, even though they're underneath your clothing, you can feel a small amount of singeing. Now, the clothing you're wearing has some fire retardantness to it, so you yourself aren't burned. You maybe have a little bit of singeing on the hair, on the back of your head, but the young girl, her eyes are wide. Both of you are on the ground about maybe 50 feet away from this building, so the heat, the flames, the intensity, you can watch as, you know, concrete itself is melting. The heat is so intense, and the tires of the cars that are parked along the road next to this building have started to melt into the street itself. And down the road, you can see some flashing lights of these emergency vehicles making their way towards your direction, but her face is just complete and utter horror, shock, desperation. She's shaking, and if I remember correctly, you had kind of dived away with her, protecting her from it. So
yeah.
She is on the ground, just like starting to sit up, her elbow looking up, and she's just mouth wide staring over at this building. What have I done?
No time to think. Come on, and Willow will scoop her up and hold her and run back to the bar.
And as you scoop her up and begin to run back towards the bar, I'd like you to go ahead and actually roll me a streetwise check, if you would. I want you to roll a quick streetwise check.
I can do that. Potentially. Skill. There we go. 5. Whoa.
That is a 10. So as you... Oh, go ahead, please.
I can spend a thingy to make you re-roll, right?
You can spend an edge to make me re-roll 1, 2, or all 3 of my dice. It's entirely up to you.
And edge is the thing that I've... Oh, yeah, you know what? I will...
Want to spend that edge?
Spend 1 edge to make you re-roll the 2 6s.
The 2 6s? Perfect. Okay, I have a 4 then, and then I have... No, I have a 2 then, and then I'm going to re-roll 2d6. I rolled a 9. That's 10, 11. I still got an 11. So as you pick up the girl, she resists slightly. Like you feel her like push back on your chest. You start to scoop her up, and she pushes back, but she's weak. She's in shock. So her ability to resist your picking her up and throwing her over your shoulder, or however you choose to do it, is minimal. And she just begins to not sob, but she's hyperventilating. She's having a panic attack.
Yeah, Willow is holding her like not like over her shoulder, but arm under knees, and then the other arm around her back.
Okay.
And like holding her close to him, so she can't move a lot.
And as you are carrying her, she is still looking past you. So imagine if you're holding her in your arms, she's looking past you at the building, and she is muttering to herself, I'm a murderer. I'm a murderer. Oh God, what have I done? And then she will bury her face kind of like into your chest and just begins to, at this moment, weep, with desperation, with frustration, with, the horror of everything she's just witnessed. And as you begin to run back towards the bar, if you recall, it wasn't too far away, just a couple of blocks away. We're actually going to pivot back to that bar where we see the rest of the group is standing around this unconscious man, and really just going to leave the scene to you guys. The one thing I will say is the bartender looks up. You see both George, you see both, not George. You see both Alan and Yinny look over at you, look back at the bartender, and then you hear the bartender say to the two of them, "You guys are paying for his tab, right?"
I will walk over and pick up the revolver and kind of tuck it into my waistband and then say, "I'll pay for it."
All right. Well, I mean, okay, that's fine. If you pick him up and get him out of here too, it's a bad look. Body on the ground. I mean, not that I'm really that busy. Anyway.
With respect, we suspect our friend and that young girl will be coming back, so we need to stay here and do an interrogation. And at that, I will try and put this guy into a booth and tie his hands up.
And Callum will call over to the bartender. Do you have a back room we could use?
The bartender looks at Alan and looks at Yinny. Both Alan and Yinny are giving him real serious eyes. Like, you can just see both of them are staring at him. And the bartender has this expression on his face like he feels a little outnumbered, you can tell. Is your tone, Callum, is it aggressive or more like I'm asking for help in this situation?
No, he's genuinely asking right now.
Bartender looks at the two in front of him, looks over at you guys. Yeah, it's we got a back office. I mean, you guys want me to close up? Look, I don't know what the fuck's going on here. I just work here, and like, you know, you're not gonna knock me in the back of the head or anything, are you?
Cyprian's going to walk over to the bar, and because he's relatively well off, he's going to pay for the tab of this guy, and then make sure that this the bartender is suitably recompensed for any
Compensated.
Yeah.
Bartender's gonna look down at the, you know, the credits, the money that you've given him, and he's gonna imagine it's paper money in this moment, because I think that's interesting. He's just gonna fold it, tuck it into his pocket, and he goes, you know what, it's actually my break. I'm gonna go close up for a little bit, and you know, just knock on the front door. Let me know when you guys are done. And he is going to pivot around, head out to the front door. He leaves a key, keychain on the counter with a couple of different keys. He actually takes the time to set out one key, points it, and says that opens the office. And then he is going to exit out the back side, and he's going to take a smoke break. But that leaves the rest of you inside. Yinny looks over at the two as well as Callum, and looks at all three of you and says, all right, what the fuck? I missed something here, because there's a guy unconscious on the ground. What the fuck, guys? What are we doing here?
This man gave a parcel of some kind to a young girl who our friend is now following, and we suspect that, given he tried to leave this bar after that explosion, he has something to do with it. Also, I do not know if very many people carry a holstered gun if they're doing well. The only people I know who do that are, well, soldiers like us. And even we don't do well that often.
Helen spins around looking at Callum, and then looks over at the other two. He looks at Lawrence and, excuse me, he looks over at Cyprian, then looks over at Callum and Lawrence. And he says, I mean, it's a free Kantara's 4. You can carry a firearm if you want. It's not illegal. Is this
not illegal, but it does go to character. I'll put it like that.
You're getting the impression that Alan isn't wholly on board with this. There is a, you know, he was a little aggressive last session. He had his, you know, moment with Cyprian, but right now, for some reason, he looks uncomfortable and a little nervous. And you guys notice his eyes keep darting over to that guy on the floor. And he says, yeah, I mean, if you guys want to talk to him, that's fine. I just, yeah, I think I'm going to take a smoke break too. And he's going to get up, and Yinny's like, what the fuck, man? Like, we're all Delta Company. We should be in this together. Where the fuck you going, Alan? And I'll give you guys a moment to interact with him, or you can just let him head out the front as well.
I will request that, unless somebody else wants to just like let him go, I will request that we wait until Willow gets back and hear what he has seen for Alan to make his decision then. That's my suggestion. And I won't do it in dialogue because I can't keep it up very long.
You're doing great, man. You're doing an absolutely fantastic job. So Alan, so Lawrence, you know, obviously extends out and says, why don't we wait for Willow to get back? Let's figure out what's going on. Is that correct?
Yes. Yeah.
Alan will stop, and I want you to go ahead and roll negotiations. And if you don't have negotiations, I'm going to have you just roll a 2d6 plus your charisma.
Ooh, that's not good.
Is it better than a
7?
I
have probably that.
We're about to find out.
We're going to see what happens. Oh, boy. Ooh.
Nope.
Alan's going to stop at the end of the bar, and he places his hand on the end of the bar, and you see him, you know, kind of rock back and forth. He leans forward as though he wants to continue walking. He leans back as though he wants to maybe stay. And then he, without looking around, he says, yeah, I don't want any part of this. And he is going to head out to the front door. As he exits the front door, Willow and the young girl actually are returning. He says, the other inside, Willow, they knocked this guy out. I don't know what the fuck's going on. And the young girl's
Cyprian's
still
going to
sobbing.
follow Alan.
Oh, follow Alan? Perfect.
He's going to stand just inside the door and keep an eye on him.
Perfect. And Willow and the girl have returned to the scene as well.
Has the girl composed herself enough to walk on her own? Or is she still like
not catatonic, but is quiet. She's just nestled into your arms and is very quiet right now.
Ah, good. And why aren't you in there helping them?
I think they've got it covered, man. I just I don't really want to talk about it.
All right. I'm not going to press you for it. But if you do know who that guy is, at least let us know.
Roll me a negotiations.
Right.
Ooh,
Damn
nice.
good. Damn good. So you press on Alan, and you know you've dealt with these interpersonal kind of conversations before. I would assume you've probably even interrogated people before at some point in your, mysterious past. But with that being said, you see Alan is definitely holding something back. There's an uncomfortableness on Alan's face, and he hesitates before he says what he says next. But when he finally does speak, he says, I think I know that guy. I can't be sure, but I think I know him. And I haven't seen him in years. I don't know, man. This has got me shaken. I don't know.
Mark.
I'm just not feeling right about this. Something doesn't feel right. I don't know. I think I know him, and
Listen, Alan, I'm not gonna have you go in there and talk to somebody who I'm gonna just go out and say it. He's a bad guy. He's a very bad guy. But I'm not gonna have you confront that. I think we should be able to handle that. But the rest of Delta Company is in there, and if you want to come help, there's always a spot for you. And with that, Willow will push past him and go into the bar.
As you push past him, one thing I want to point out to you, Willow, is that Alan is generally, in your 3.5 years or so you've been working with him as you've been training under Delta Company, he's a pretty stern guy. He's a pretty, put together gentleman, and he rarely looks nervous. He rarely looks like he doesn't know how to approach a situation. He's that, I would almost hesitate to say toxic masculinity kind of like confidence, you know what I mean? Like just aggressive confidence. And he looks shook. He looks completely and utterly shook. With that being said, you push past him. You see Cyprian on the inside. Cyprian, you're watching Alan. Alan has asked for a cigarette. The bartender is next to him, offers him one. Alan starts taking a long drag on it, and the two of them just stand there in silence. There's this kind of little like walkway with a little like arm bar there, a little guardrail, and they're just both leaning, looking into the alley as the rest of as you move inside with the girl. Where do you head off to, Willow?
Just into the middle of the room.
Perfect. Awesome. And Yinny looks over and sees you holding the girl, and she's like, is she hurt?
No, doesn't appear so. I'm fine too, by the way.
That's fine. Give her to me. And she's going to actually move over and take the girl and get her a seat, set her down next to the bar, and Yinny's going to just, keep her calm, talk to her. Yinny pivots around. Go ahead, please.
When Yinny comes close so I can hand her off, I say, be careful with her. She was just used for a very bad purpose.
Yinny just gives you a very understanding nod of, I get it. And then she pivots around, gets a glass of water for the girl, and then you see her just quietly trying to talk to her and engage and keep her distracted. But that gives you a chance to rejoin the group.
If I can count on anybody, I can count on you two to knock somebody out cold.
It is my specialty.
It does seem that way, and I'm very glad of it.
All I did was nod.
Don't worry. Your culpability in this is minor.
Oh no, I really wanted this to happen.
Don't worry. If there's any culpability, then it's gonna be his. And Willow points at the guy.
Yeah. So what happened?
So that I figure you felt that explosion just now.
Was it what I thought it was?
Well, if you thought it was about 15 or 20 pounds of high explosive in a briefcase, a couple blocks over, then yes, it is what you thought it was.
God fucking damn it.
That's...
Let's get this guy secured then. I think that when he wakes up, he won't be very pleasant. And given he's just done that, I don't think it'll be wise to leave him with free hands.
Well, if we've got him, let's secure him and call the MPs.
Fair point. I'll dial up the number for military police or just regular police that we think we have a suspect.
Lawrence, hold on there. No, don't call them just yet. Let's see if we can get as much information out of this guy as we can.
Well,
then let's hand him off.
Absolutely, but we don't want... If you can... I say we give 5 minutes, but I don't know. If this man just bombed a building, then he probably has plan B down through to Z. I don't know if we should give him that much of a chance.
There's a bit of a problem in that as well. That you see that girl over there at the bar?
Right.
He just extorted her. So legally, I think she just bombed the building, even though it was him that set it up.
Fair point, but we all saw what we saw. We can attest as witnesses that she was forcibly coerced. I don't believe she has a reason to fear the law, necessarily.
I'd rather she not be in the picture at all.
Fair point, but...
Innocent bystander, then.
And we just need to make sure that our story about her matches up and goes against his story about her. Because people like this guy, they're going to try and take down as many people as they can.
Well, what is our story about her?
People like this guy, the guy on the ground actually stirs, groaning, and his hand slowly starts to move up. He's starting to regain consciousness and starts to move kind of to the back of his head and check, where there's a little bit of trickle of blood. Not bad. You definitely did split open the back of his head a little bit, and it's swelling up. There's a nice little goose egg on there.
I'm going to...
My fucking head. Ah, oh, damn it.
Upon hearing that, I'm going to put my boot on his back, like keeping him in place, and I'm just going to go. Guten Abend, Schlafenmutz.
Get the fuck off me, you piece of garbage! Hit the man in the back of the skull, you son of a... Ah, damn it! And he just starts to grumble and mumble at you.
Listen, if you guys got this, I think I'm going to go take a look around outside just to make sure this guy doesn't have any backup.
That's a good idea.
Roger that.
Willow's going to sink down to his haunches and, look down at the guy and say, all right, so who are you working for? What was the job for? Why did you hand that briefcase off to that girl?
I ain't saying nothing.
At that point, Lawrence is going to take the revolver out of his waistband and then press it up against the back of the man's head, right on the goose egg. Think carefully now. And actually, I hate to go back, but I'm going to can I say that I unloaded the revolver beforehand? Basically, I'm placing an empty gun to the back of his head.
Absolutely. If you want to do that, Callum, I'm going to have you pause right next to Cyprian if you don't mind, because I want to get to your scene in just a moment as you go to outside to look around.
For sure.
But I want to finish this up with Lawrence and Weber with this gentleman. So you put the gun up to the back of his head, and you notice that as you put the gun to the back of his head, you might expect him to maybe go rigid, maybe start to give off the impressions of like he's afraid. The guy's stone cold. Absolutely stone cold. And he without turning, without moving, with no shaking, he doesn't seem afraid. He says, "Fucking do it."
Lawrence, there's no need for that. It's not going to work anyway.
Understood. He will get
But-
off of him, but he will retreat to the back wall and load it now and keep the weapon trained on him.
The guy is going to, unless you stop him, he's going to push himself up, and he leans against. If you imagine the booths in the top part, of this bar, he actually gets up into a sitting position, reaches up onto the bar. There's a little rag or like a napkin, and he puts it on the back of his head, and he just looks at the two of you, and there's not a look of fear, not even a look of anger. He looks very calm right now. He looks very, very calm.
So, we've got a bit of a tough guy here. I've seen your kind before. What it takes? What have they got you for? What's your payroll in this?
Payroll?
You're not doing this for money?
You have no idea what's going on here, do you?
If I knew, I wouldn't be asking you any questions, would I? We just have you locked up.
Little Mechie, you've stepped into some shit that you shouldn't have stepped into. Here's my offer. Walk away, give me the girl, and you can go on and play your little mech games and have the fun you want to have. Keep me here, keep wasting my fucking time, and you, and her, and he points to each and every one, are going to be dead in the next 30 minutes.
Yeah, it's a tough guy over, right? Well, I've seen plenty of your kind, and I can promise you, you're going to jail.
Under whose authority?
Willow looks around, says, "Well, we are palace guards, so our authority."
And he just starts laughing. And it's just this cocky, condescending laugh, and it just starts to boil over. And he says, "You think your little palace guards, you think the Duke's the one that's in control? You have no idea what's even happening here."
So then why don't you fill us in? Give us all the knowledge that gives you all of your pride.
I'd like you to go ahead, both Lawrence and Weber. I'd like you both to roll either a streetwise, or if you don't have streetwise, I'd like you guys to go ahead and roll simply just a... I'm going to have it be... streetwise is off of charisma, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I'd like to either roll streetwise. If you don't have streetwise, I'll have you roll either just a will check or just a will check is what I'd like you to do.
Well, Willow will use streetwise because he has that.
I actually do have will, so
Terrible roll. Nice.
Gonna be
Meter beat. That's good.
+2, so 9.
9. Okay. Willow, you are actually the one that notices it. As you've been talking with this guy, he pulled his arm. He's got this long trench coat on. He put his hat back on the front part of his head, and he pulled his hand into his trench coat. And you can see on the sleeve at the end of it, you can see his fingers have been moving. And it almost looks like he's interacting with some sort of small object.
Hey, Lawrence, how's your aim?
Damn good.
You mind shooting this guy in the arm? Left arm.
And at the mention of shooting this guy in the arm, we're going to pivot down to Callum. Callum, you have just arrived next to Cyprian. Are you just going to walk right past him? Do you have any interactions with him? What's the situation?
No, Callum will stop at Cyprian, put a hand on his shoulder, and just ask, "How does he look?"
So would Cyprian have noticed that Alan is off?
Oh, absolutely.
This whole thing.
100%. 100%. Yes.
He'll tell Callum that there's something not quite right with Alan. He's, 1 minute he's knocking my lights out, the next minute he's shaking over a bar and cadging cigarettes off some bartender.
Yeah, well, nothing about this seems quite right. Did you bring a weapon?
Yeah.
All right. I don't know why, but I just have this feeling that we're going to need them.
And at the mention of have this feeling, we're going to need them, there is a quiet but audible, and from outside the bar door, you watch as the bartender, who has been standing there, he was just about to take a drag, goes rigid, and then collapses to the ground. And pooling around and out to the side of his head, you see a trickle of blood. Alan turns to the left, and there is another whoop, whoop, whoop. And you watch as bullet ricochets off the back wall behind him as he drops to the ground. And looking out the side window, you see half a dozen armed men approaching the building, wielding small arms. They look like submachine guns. And we are going to go ahead and drop into a little bit of combat. Let's go ahead and start rolling some initiatives.
So, can we retroactively say that on his way back, Willow stopped at the pack rat and picked up his
absolutely.
his weapon?
Absolutely. If you want to make some narrative declarations, like even you brought your sidearm, or you had it, that's totally fine, guys. Absolutely.
Yeah, his side autocannon.
That's aggressive.
Oh, jeez.
Initiative. There we go.
That's just is that plus reflex plus?
We're just gonna do. It's 2d6 plus 2d6 plus reflex. Because I do agree that the reflex is kind of redundant. We talked about that last night, Aaron.
Yeah,
I definitely agree with that. Yeah.
And so since we're rolling initiative, can I add, say, my sixth sense or
absolutely.
combat sense?
Absolutely, both if you want. 100%.
Okay. Great.
That is gonna be.
Oh no.
Yeah, well.
I mean, it's still pretty good.
It's not terrible. Let's get Yinny in there. Let's get George in there. And is everybody not George? I keep saying George. It's Alan. I keep saying George for some reason.
You keep calling Willow Weber too.
Do I keep calling him Weber? I'm sorry.
My
super professional game master. Super professional game master.
Yeah, GM. If there's a way to change it, my initiative should actually be 13. So I forgot to add my reflex.
Yeah, absolutely. Done. All right, and in descending order, we have Yinny up first, who she's not aware that shit's going down, so she's just talking to the little girl. And then we move over to Callum.
And I think the first. So tell me, did Alan get dropped?
You don't know. You can't tell.
Okay.
He dropped like prone. So if you imagine there's a stairwell and there's like a concrete railing. So he dropped below the railing so that, and you saw a couple of chunks of concrete move off. The only for sure kill shot you saw was the bartender. Yep.
Okay. So I think at that, Callum is just going to yell gun. And can we just say for the sake of easiness that these guys are approaching from the south?
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
And absolutely. And he'll just yell gun, target south, and the first thing that he wants to do is come out here, grab Alan, and try to pull him back in.
You can do that all in one swift action. Absolutely.
Okay.
You see Alan has dropped down, and he's starting to push himself back up. You can grab him by the scruff, by the collar,
and just push him through the door.
In. And as you do so, you see he's actually drawing a sidearm to try to just get something up, but he's shaking. He's visibly shaking as this happens. But you manage to drag him back inside the door.
And so you said, okay, so that's like a quick action or whatever. Can I still make an attack?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. So you can like reach out with the left hand, grab him. As you do so, you can like take a couple of like pop shots off at these guys. 100%.
All right. Then you know what? Let's do that. So that's just going to be a small arms check, which is, it's okay. Select the token.
So, is there a way that I can spend a plot point or an edge point to assist and provide like covering fire as the door's opening as well?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you want to just, you don't even need to spend a point. If you just want to say, like, I'm going to use my turn to, like do cover fire and assist him, then yeah, what I would do is I would decrease. So if you just want to like what kind of weapon are you carrying on you, Steve? Is it just like a pistol?
An auto pistol,
Auto pistol. So you could just like start laying down some spray. I think that would be a really cool way to assist. And what I would do then is I would give them a situational modifier that would be a negative for them, so that it's going to be easier for Callum to maybe land a couple of shots.
Nice.
Cool.
That's appreciated, Steve. Thank you. All right, let's do this.
Perfect. And then they would roll a combat as well. Let me go ahead and roll that for them. Skill check.
It'd be 2d6 reflex in this instance.
Yep, 2d6. Should we do reflex, or should we just do reflex?
I think in this case, I would stick with the reflex.
Okay, perfect.
I think that is how.
That's the rules too in the
So perfect. So as you go to shoot, which one of the half a dozen are you targeting?
Honestly, I'm gonna go for this guy right here.
Perfect.
And what I want to try to do is wedge them apart.
So they separate,
if I can.
They're moving in like a tactical line. They've got, they're wearing, they're wearing like goggles, night vision goggles. They look like trained mercenaries. Like this is almost like paramilitary styles.
And no visible markings, like no sigils, logos,
black
nothing.
armor.
Yeah.
They've got black hoods on, like little like beanies. They look like bad guys, for lack of a better phrase. Yeah,
I love it.
They're just moving in on you for sure.
But yeah, I'm gonna pop that guy with my SMIG, my SMG.
Perfect. And how much damage is that?
That's gonna do 3.
Nice. So you fire it, and you watch as you can see they're wearing this kind of like a blade of armor, and you watch this like plinks off of it, and the one gentleman starts to pivot to the left, and the other two also pivot to the left, and it works. You see that he starts to pivot away, and it looks like it's dealt some damage to him, or at least damage to his armor, and you see him going, gun, and then it's like move it, and they start pressing in, but they've split apart now during this moment. Anything else, Callum?
Let me just check. I've got to check the Warriors catalogs. I think the SMG can attack multiple targets in the same narration.
Ooh,
You can do two targets at one turn. Yep.
Let's go. I
So
like it.
I'm gonna just as an attempt to drive these guys further this way to maybe get them in line of sight of the windows for our people. I'll take another shot at this guy as well. Unless he's the guy that I already hit.
Which one you're hitting?
This guy right here.
Yes, you have not hit him yet. Nope, you haven't hit him yet. Yep, you can
Cool.
definitely shoot him.
So I'll do that guy. That's less good, but we'll see.
Ooh. But
But
if you recall, I was giving you a situational modifier, which was a -2 to them. So that, my friend, is a hit.
Beautiful. Yeah, so that's 3 for him as well.
So imagine, if
just
you will,
a couple
unload
quick
with
bursts.
the submachine gun, and as that's happening, Cyprian has leaned out and is auto-pistoling, and as they go to dodge away from his fire, they actually walk into your fire, and you're able to just spray a couple of bullets at both of them, dealing an additional 3 damage to this guy. The same situation, the armor kind of ablates. They start to split apart, and they're a little less in formation now than they were prior, which is brilliant. Anything else, my friend?
That is it for me.
Perfect. The merc that you hit actually reaches to his side. You see he's starting to pull out a small little object. It's round, and he pulls a pin from it, and then goes to lob it up towards the front door, towards you guys. And yeah, that's going to be a thing. Let's see how this goes. So that's going to be a plus. And I'm still going to give him the situational modifier in all their checks because, Cyprian, you did do that fire. So he's going to be getting a minus on this. So that is a 9, and then now both of you have to roll. I believe it's combat. It would be like, what would be the defense? Is it just reflex plus reflex?
It's all reflex.
Okay.
Personal combat is always reflex plus reflex for defense.
So I'm gonna have you guys all roll reflex plus reflex. I'm gonna have Alan roll it as well. Ooh, he rolled an 8. That's not good.
Just want to double check, but I'm sure mine is. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Nice. And then
So if my combat if my reflex is 3, I'm putting 6 in that skill bonus box set.
correct.
Yeah.
Cool. Right.
Nice.
Ooh, nice.
So here's what happens. You watch as the frag grenade is picked up, chucked up, and it just, boom, arcs right up and over, and it goes to land. And you see Alan, who is still shaking. He watches as it passes and says, "Grenade!" Rushes forward between the two of you, slamming the door shut as the two of you jump back. So if you actually want to move yourselves back behind this corner here, you both jump back. But then there is a boom, and you watch as the door is exploded inward. Chunks of metal and wood are pushed into Alan, and Alan is flung back, smashing into this small little jukebox here, and slumps down onto the floor unconscious. But he has taken the full brunt of that grenade, as well as that. But the door is now completely destroyed, and you can see that the body of the bartender is a little worse for wear, dare I say. He's definitely not getting up after that one. But next up is Willow. Willow, you guys had just had this conversation. All of this happens literally as you have just said this line, "How's your shot?" And you can see the look on this guy's face is just, "I warned you, fuckers." But go ahead, it's your turn.
You're muted. There you go.
I got it. Willow will, over his shoulder, say, "Don't punch up at the door if they've got grenades. They'll just take you all out. Use it as a choke point." And then he will unsling his portable autocannon. And what I want to do is use the autocannon and blow out this guy's knees.
The guy in front of you?
Yeah.
That's aggressive, and I like where your mind's at. Go for it.
Uh,
Well, he's on the ground, so as long as you don't roll double ones, you're probably going to hit him. He looks at you, and for the first time during this interaction, his eyes go wide, and he's like, "You son of a boom!" And you watch as his left leg literally disappears, and there's a small crater in the tiling of the ground, and you just hear him start screaming. Callum and Cyprian, you hear Willow's autocannon go off. I didn't say Weber, I said Willow. I'm getting it right. I'm learning. But you hear Willow's autocannon go off, and you hear this guy just start screaming in pain, reaching down at his severed leg at the knee, and is just, oh, fuck, what the fuck is wrong with you? Just complete mess.
Willow's gonna one-liner, "Don't go anywhere."
That's classic. I love it. That's
So
brilliant.
how far can I move with a?
It's a kind of narrative. I mean, honestly, with 6 seconds, you could make your way from where you are over to the group. You could really anywhere in that front.
These
row.
are windows.
Yep, those are windows.
Okay, so I'll definitely run my way over to that window. And so the autocannon says it can attack 2 targets.
Yeah.
Can I make another attack, or do they have to be at the same time?
Absolutely. Go for it.
So yeah, as I run away, I look over to Lauren and say, "Make sure he doesn't die. Staunch the bleeding," and then I will shoot the lead guy here. Ooh, 13. That's pretty good too.
Nice.
Okay, let me go ahead and get the thing going. And you were shooting at the guy that
This
had already been
one
hit?
here.
Perfect.
The
Okay,
lead
so
one.
he looks a little distracted. He's actually looking towards a door, and as you move up, I imagine you maybe smash out the window with the front of the autocannon and just kabloom, or do you just shoot right through the window?
Shoot right through it.
I love it. So there's this explosion of glass, like a glass shard spell. I don't know. It's like cone of cold, but it's cone of glass, and it just boom right out the window, sending glass. And you see this like the flame from the autocannon shoots out, and he's just starting to look to his right and is like, "Ugh!" But I'm going to go ahead and roll his skill check here really quick. He's probably going to fail. That is an 11. That hits him. What is the damage on that autocannon?
It's only 5.
It's only 5. Only 5. So imagine, if you will, that this guy is standing there. He goes to turn his gun to the window. Shards of glass come flying out in his direction. His other 2 friends are moving to the side, trying to bring their submachine guns to bear. And this autocannon hits him in the side. And just there's this thunk as it goes in. And then his whole side explodes, sending blood and viscera and gore everywhere. But you're pretty sure he's down for the count. So I'm just going to go ahead and just put a little red X on that guy, because I think he might, I think he might be a little worse for wear.
Are his insides outside?
His insides are outside. It's a little aggressive. It's a little gross, but I digress. Cyprian, you're up next, which you did spend your turn to offer suppressive fire. So did you want to move anywhere? Because you could have shot. That'll be your shooting, was the suppressive fire. But did you want to reposition anywhere in the building?
Yeah, he's just going to jump over the bar to here and just level his gun for waiting for somebody to come around that corner.
Perfect. Lawrence, you're up next, my dude. The guy in front of you is wailing in pain and misery and is just losing his mind.
Lawrence, with the minimal amount of med tech that he has, will just literally take the guy's belt and then put it on the guy's stump to prevent him from completely bleeding out.
Go ahead and roll a med tech check.
All right, that I actually do have some points in.
You can keep him from bleeding out, probably. I only rolled a 6.
Well, I need it.
Meter beat. That's perfect. Yeah, he doesn't bleed out in front of you. That's fantastic. He's just like... He's just losing his mind right now. That is aggressive, but I love where your mind's at. Anything else you'd like to do, Lawrence?
Sorry, excuse me.
I will run over here with the rest of the group and take some shots with this guy's revolver at, we'll say all right.
So in a swift action, you like rip the guy's belt off, wrench it, and as you're wrenching it, you're drawing the firearm. It's like super swift. Like this takes you no more than like 6 seconds. That combat training is kicked in, right? Like you're all it's all business right now. I love it. I love it.
Yeah, I'm gonna say thanks for this as I run away, and then
he's still screaming.
Do any of them are any of them more injured than the other? Or...
This one right here, it's hard to tell with the little amount of time that you have to like line up a shot. They all look pretty fresh, other than the guy that's missing half his, his insides are on the outside, as Aaron so elegantly put it.
All right, I'll take an aim at that guy then. Because it's all going to be the same, which I have small arms, I believe. Yep, small arms +5.
And let's see here. That is a 12. Let me go ahead and make his check here really quick. 11. That is a hit. How much damage is that?
That is 4.
4 damage. You bring up, and you're wielding that revolver, right?
Yep.
So you line up the shot, and imagine, if you will, again, it's a pretty big caliber revolver. Imagine like an old style like Western revolver. I mean, it looks old. It's got like an ivory handle. It's kind of looks a little kitschy. But as you bring the revolver up, you actually take a shot, and you catch the guy in the neck, and actually rips through it, and he drops to the ground bleeding out. And you actually do manage to drop him. It was a fantastic shot. Fantastic shot. Next up, though, is one of his friends, who moves up and begins to put down some suppressive fire with his submachine gun right into the window, and is going to target both Willow and Lawrence. And he's going to go ahead and make that check on his attack, which is going to be a 9. So you guys are rolling 2d6 plus reflex to try and dodge out of the way. 17 for Willow, goes completely wide. I'm going to go ahead and have him roll again. This is the attack on Lawrence, which is a 9 as well. So a hail of bullets just breaks away the little remaining glass. You hear it impacting into the concrete sides of the building, and the bullets are actually whizzing past as well into the building. The young girl has dropped, like trying to like duck down, and you see Yinny's reaching over and is actually like in the process of dragging the girl up and over the bar and drawing her own sidearm as well. This merc is dead. This merc here moves up, gets a little closer, and you watch him as he actually goes to grab another frag grenade and looks like he's about to chuck it into the window. Now, here's a really good learning opportunity. You guys have these cool spendable resources called plot points. You can actually spend one of those plot points to act out of turn and basically take another turn inside of the initiative. Now, I'm going to give you guys an opportunity here if you want to spend a plot point, or this guy's going to chuck a frag grenade in through the window. It's entirely up to you.
I have an idea.
I think 3 people had the same idea. Who wants to pitch it?
Well, I'm behind the bar, but I had the same idea.
But all right, was everybody else thinking Molotov cocktail?
Oh no. Okay. No, we had
No,
different ideas.
I was thinking of shooting the grenade. But...
I was thinking of throwing it back.
Well,
because that's way easier than shooting the grenade.
But hear me out for the Molotov thing, and GM, this is going to require some indulgences on your part as well. Fire is bad with explosives. If they're carrying explosives and they catch on fire, that could be bad for them. Just saying. But I'll let anybody that wants to do whatever they want to do, I'll do that first. I'm not going to be the guy to hog it.
All right, so here's my pitch.
Please.
Can I spend my plot point to, instead of acting right now out of order, but when he throws the grenade, assuming it is successful, to just huck it back at
If
him.
you want to splend, that's a word. If you want to spend a plot point to make the narrative declaration that he chucks it and you catch it and chuck it back, that's a reasonable spend of a plot point, in my opinion. I'll make you make a roll for it, so they'll have a chance to jump out of the way. But if you just want to say, hey, I catch it as it comes in and lob it back, I think that's totally fair, and I will gladly take your plot point.
Lawrence, what do you want to pitch?
I was just gonna pitch trying to shoot him, but I think your one's more fun.
Okay, I will do that.
And honestly, Callum, if you want to spend a plot point as well to say, I reach over the bar, grab the most high-proof thing, and then lob it out after that, that's fine too.
I still want to do that. I have another...
You want to hold it?
No, you know what? No, I'll go ahead. I'll give you a plot point now, but I'm not going to. I'm not going to take away from Strom.
Okay.
And what he wants to do.
Perfect.
So for my action, it's mostly going to be a move. So Callum is actually beginning to move away, and we'll say as he passes the bar, he grabs like a just liquor-soaked rag and a bottle of like vodka, and begins to run back.
150 bottle of 151.
Fine. And you tell me, can you ping me like what you think is a reasonable spot to end? Because I think like right about here.
I think that's perfect. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and I've got an idea when my next
I love
turn
it.
comes around.
I love it. And so this merc lobs the grenade in. Willow, you watch it come, and you're actually like it's almost like a baseball game, and you're like, whoa, whoop, and you catch it, and just you can lob it back. Go ahead and roll if you have throw, which I believe is a skill. Correct me if I'm wrong. Throw, or you can just do plus reflex on the attack. Plus reflex, excuse me.
I only have reflex, but I'll do reflex plus reflex.
Well, that's bad for that one. It's really bad for that one. So this guy's like, grenade out! Chucks it. Willow's like, you've got your autocannon in one arm. You're like, and whoop, and back at you. And he's like, and you just hear them both go, oh shit. And yeah, that is some explosive damage to both of them. And because I think it's narratively interesting, they both go to dodge, but because he cooked it for a second, you caught it and chucked it back. There's not enough time, and it just goes off, and you just see the explosion, you see the shrapnel, there's a bit of dust that plumes up and dirt that plumes up, and as it all settles back down, you see both of them are on the ground, either dead or dying. One of them is like writhing in pain. You just see shrapnel, you see his armor has been torn apart, the guns are on the ground, and the other two off to the side like bring their guns up and they're like, they look a little less confident in this moment.
Willow shouts out the window, "Get a new playbook. We already heard that one."
That's great. This guy here, though, is actually... he moves back, But as he moves back, he is going to take a pot shot through the window at Willow, and that is an 11 to hit.
My defense is... Oh, no, it's 9.
Ooh, so you actually take a full hit. He continues to fire, shooting at Lawrence as well. That's going to be 4 pips of damage. 4 pips.
All right. So I have flak armor.
Lawrence...
Is it...
So, and Aaron, you have to help me out with this. It's been a hot second since we've done, like, hand-to-hand, you know, person-to-person combat. I believe it's... So your armor has a rating. That subtracts from the damage, and then the rest goes into the actual pips. Correct me if I'm wrong. You're muted.
So you check 2 pips off on your ballistic armor. It negates 2 points of that 4-point damage. The rest you apply to your physical condition track, and depending on your strength score. So what's your strength score, Strong?
2.
2. So that means you're going to lose. You're at 1 pip on the first row and 2 pips on the second row. So yeah, check 2 boxes off, and now you're also going to need to make a con check, which is just a flat 2d6 roll, and you have to beat 3.
Nice. You remain conscious.
Yeah.
That's good. Very good.
Shakes you up a little bit as well.
Shakes you up. You can feel one of the bullets actually, like, makes its way in. You've taken a pretty solid hit, but you are still standing. And Alan,
me.
Alan slumps over to the side, but you can tell Willow and Lawrence that he's still breathing. He's just very, very hurt. This last arm merc also pivots back, seeing that there is Lawrence and Weber, and he's just gonna, you know, same verse, second verse, same as the first. He's just gonna go ahead and take another pot shot at both of you. First one's towards Willow, second one's towards Lawrence. Ooh,
Oh,
Willow, you're
darn.
taking another shot. Lawrence, though, once again, you've hunkered down. You're not taking any fire. Willow, that is another 4 points of damage from this submachine gun. Oh boy. Oh
All
boy.
right, hold on, I gotta make another con check.
Which I believe is now a
You said it was
5.
5.
So instead of
Haha,
5.
Oh, it's
nailed it.
good.
Me?
You're taking more. Most of your armor has taken that damage, but you're looking a little worse for Callum. It is now your actual turn.
All right. So now I have to sell you on something.
Go ahead.
And I think I misinterpreted the map, so I may not be able to do this at all. So I thought this area right here was like a roof access, but it's clearly a living room.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can we say there's a window or something here so that I can get out onto this like awning?
So, interestingly enough, yes.
Okay.
Because I love where your mind's at, and I don't want to punish you because the map's a little silly.
Okay. Cool. So what I want to do, and I don't like, it's a really long way to go. I'll give you a plot point if you want to be able to make it all the way.
Absolutely.
To just be able to make it all the way down here.
Done.
And
We'll say there's a little balcony out on the side that you can get to.
Yeah, there we go.
And you can look down and see the two of them.
Yeah, and so basically just want to. So as he's been moving, he's been sort of stuffing the rag into the neck of the bottle. Pulls out his lighter, lights it, and throws it down onto them.
I love it. Go ahead and make the attack roll.
Yes, this is throw, so I don't have that. So
that is a 12. So as you take this bottle of mostly full 151, you shove the rag into it, you grab a Zippo or a lighter of some kind, you light it, and you just straight down. I mean, it's almost impossible to miss. And there's just this kabloom, and both of these gentlemen go up in flame and start screaming, dropping their weapons. And 2 seconds later, you hear a boom, 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 as all of the frag grenades and like, imagine an ammo explosion on a mech. This is an ammo explosion on a merc, and it's visceral. You may even want to look away. It's highly, highly, highly visceral, as they both just are eviscerated and turned to ash. However, that card that you just gave me, Callum, go ahead and spend that plot point. Because as you are up on that little balcony, you chuck that down, you actually see a small red laser line up on you. And you hear a kaboom. And it sounds like a long rifle. And I'm gonna have you roll a plus reflex that you're getting shot at, and this could be bad. That's a 16.
I'm gonna spend an edge to make you re-roll that.
Ooh. Oh, come on. Both dice. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Oh. So as you spend the edge to make me roll that, which I think was perfect, you see the red, like the little, like it's green. We'll say it's like a green little green laser. You see it line up on you. Manage to jump to the side, and you watch as the concrete of the wall on the balcony here. There is a huge, and you recognize the caliber. This is a 50 cal sniper that just shot at you, and it just explodes out the side of the wall there, and you manage to duck down. As soon as that happens, the green laser disappears, and the combat is over, leaving you all a little shaken up, but alive. And yeah, what do you guys do?
I think
I'm gonna check out. Well,
They
I'm
shot
gonna
me.
Say, if Cyprian wants to jump over the bar, immediately run to Alan, and then shout at Willow and be like, "What happened to using the choke point?" And then try and help Alan.
Oh, they never got there.
Alan is unconscious, but in this moment, you're pretty sure he's gonna make it. He just took the full brunt, got knocked out, and failed his con check, as it were, to use that phrase. He made sure you guys were okay. He took the full brunt of this thing.
so I'm gonna check out Willow to see if there's any way that I can help them. Like, I'm not gonna try and pull out a bullet in the middle of the battlefield, but like wrap a bandage around the wound to make sure that they're stable.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. Go ahead and roll a med tech check here.
Willow is complaining incessantly. He seems fine.
Hey, Willow, go ahead and give yourself back 2 pips.
I'll take that. I can't believe they shot me. I mean, like, it makes logical sense, but
From
I
behind
can't. You're stood in a window.
how else am I supposed to use this baby?
Maybe stand behind the pool table. Use the choke point, like you suggested.
Well, they never got there.
Yeah, because you're stood in a window. That's where you got shot. Anyway, he's going to pick up Alan and like drag him over to one of the booths or something.
Yinny
I feel like I'm forgetting
is
something.
standing behind the bar. She's got one of her hands down, like on the girl's shoulder, and is like holding her down. The girl is like shaking and obviously visibly upset and scared. Yinny's got her she's got an auto pistol out. She's pointing in the direction of the door. She's like, "What the fuck? What the fuck? What is going on? This is supposed to be a night on the town. Like, what the hell is happening here?"
Well, the town's having a night with us.
Lawrence is gonna look, and after hearing, I assume he could hear the 50 cal like anti-material.
Oh yeah, you
rifle.
heard that gun go off for sure.
Can I look out and see a laser tracing across the building?
No, there is the laser is gone. Whoever took that shot, I mean, at least from your perspective, looks like maybe they moved off or they turned off their laser. You don't know.
All right, I'm gonna not chance it right now, but I'm going to call military police and say that this is Delta Company. We have been engaged by enemy forces. All targets slain. We need assistance at whatever this bar's name is.
Yeah. The Spunky Kitten. There it is. That's the name of the bar. The Spunky Kitten.
No.
Yeah, it's not. It's a low end bar. George likes low end bars. That's why George recommended it. But you get on the line with the military police. They say they're 10 minutes out, and they'll be there momentarily. They recommend you hunker down and prepare for them to arrive. That's where they're at.
So I assume Willow is moving back to Mr. Stump now.
Mr. Stump, Jesus.
Yeah.
He is.
Lawrence will go back there as well.
He is in and out of consciousness.
Oh, good. Just where I left you.
Is the guy outside, the bartender, he's actually dead? Or did you say that?
Oh, he's very dead.
I assumed so, but he doesn't have a cross on him. So
He's dead.
Okay.
I'll be honest, he's dead.
Lawrence, can you just make sure that this guy doesn't die before the MPs get here? I'm gonna go fill Yinny in.
He shot my leg. He shot my leg off. Who the fuck?
Oh, stop
Who
complaining.
shots
You're a
a
tough
leg?
guy.
Who shoots a leg? What the fuck, man? He shot my leg.
I'm-
He's delirious.
I'm going to step on his leg, make it as painful as possible, and then yoink it.
Yeah! Just lets out a wailing cry of pain. It's bad. It's very
And
bad.
upon that, now I will take out the revolver and, like, like an old Western movie, it's going to be like, your hit squad did not pan out. I suggest you tell me what the fuck you know.
And with that, the pain, the realization that, you get the feeling, you get the impression that he doesn't think he's going to make it out of this for the first time. And that stone cold, like, I'm such a badass, like, exterior, it's crumbled. Willow shot his leg off. The guy gets that you mean business, right? And so he looks up and he says, I can't tell you. I'm already dead. It doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter. The Duke's on his way out, man. It's all fucked. It's all fucked. The whole fucking Commonwealth, it's all fucked. Everything is fucked. You guys are fucking idiots. You do yourself a favor. You should get off planet. Get off planet. It's all gonna come crumbling down. All of it's coming crumbling down, man. It's all coming. He shot my leg. I'm fucking crippled now, man. What the hell? What the hell? And he's in between this franticness, mentioning things about the Duke. But as he's going on and on and on, I'm actually going to have you roll a D100, because this is one of the things as a game master I like to do. And before you roll, I want you to tell me high or low. So either you roll 51 or above, or 50 or below. You tell me what you want to pick, and then you roll that D100, Lawrence.
I'm going to say that I'm going to go with Aaron and say I'm going to roll low.
Okay, I like it. 68.
That's what you get for listening to me.
You should listen to that son of a biscuit. But anyway, yeah, that's good. That's good. So you obviously, you're talking to him, you're pressing in, you're trying to push him for information, and he just says again, the Duke's on his way out. The Duke should have kept his mouth shut. But that's all you get out of him before he passes out and is unconscious from the blood loss and shock.
And then after Willow finishes filling Yinny in, and after he passes out, says, "So does anyone know what he's talking about? What did the Duke say something recently?"
I saw on the news that he said that Katrina Steiner is a bad. Is it Catherine or Katrina? I always get it mixed up.
No, she styled herself as Katrina Steiner. Yeah.
Okay. He said that he's not going to follow her anymore, that she's duplicitous and all this bad news. But yeah, he recently said that. I remember seeing it on the news.
She doesn't have any claim on this planet, Callum says as he comes back into the bar.
Isn't she like one of the...
She's the Archon of the Lyran half of the Federated Commonwealth.
The better half.
Supposedly the Archon, but that's illegitimate. This entire realm belongs to Victor.
From the bar, Yinny actually jumps in and says, didn't he just take over as the Lord Commander General of the and she's actually stumbling. You can see she's a little shaken up from it.
I'm guessing that you all understand this politics shit?
No.
I don't understand it, no, but I know that it exists.
It exists, yes.
So, from what I'm gathering, because I don't know, I might have left this out, but the mysteriously delivered bomb was mysteriously delivered to a secret underground den of palace guards. I don't know, maybe they play pool or poker there for something, or they get hookers and blow, I don't know.
Percenter
those are-
Marshal. Commissar Percenter Marshal. That's the one, says Yini, as though she just remembered what she was trying to say. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Thanks, Innie. I appreciate it. I was only talking about how a den of palace guards was in fact blown up by maybe 20 pounds of plastic explosive.
What?
Where is this?
Well, if you go outside the bar, which I don't suggest doing, that
I
sounded like a
won't.
long rifle to me. You just look at the burning building a couple blocks away.
It was definitely a long rifle. It left a hole next to my head the size of a baseball in a concrete wall.
Ah, well, I'm glad it wasn't your head.
Me too.
Would actually, going by that description, would Lawrence know of a palace guard building that's like relatively close to here, like an official one, or is it completely not known to him?
Lawrence, you tell me.
Lawrence, when it comes to military stuff, does things by the book. So if it's like, a cool undercover place where they do hookers and blow, or poker games or whatever else, he probably wouldn't know about this. But if it is like an official, like, this is a garrison in the middle of the city for rapid response, then he would know about it.
Once again, you tell me.
I'm going to say he does know about it.
Perfect.
And
So
that
this
it
was
was an
actually
official
a
area.
known location where the Palace Guard was able to actually blow off steam. It's like their R&R area. It wasn't
Officers club?
necessarily, it was like an officers club, right? That was in the basement of this apartment building. It's known about among military circles, but any of civilians, your common folk likely didn't know about it. And it's just a place for them to go. It's by the book. The upper brass knows about it. Maybe some questionable things happen here and there, but again, being a mech warrior is a stressful job. So having a place to go, get drunk, maybe do some illicit things,
They only
it's
do
fine.
hookers or blow.
Yeah, never
You have to
both.
pick.
And it's call girls, not not necessarily hookers,
Escorts.
Escorts, excuse me. It's escorts. It's escorts. Yeah, it's the high class version.
It's
right?
like hookers, but classier.
But classy.
It's
But
escorts
classy.
and Canopus battle powder.
There it is.
There we go.
There it is.
Yeah.
Exactly right. Yeah. So this was a known location. You'd obviously never been there, not being an officer, but you've heard about it. It's something that is known, and it was actually it's at any given time there could be 10 to 20 of the Palace Guard there. So you have no idea how many were killed in this explosion. But just speaking candidly, it's probably not good.
They bombed an officers club.
So,
Fucking damn it.
so we know that they are targeting the Duke, and by extension, us. And I guess it has something to do with probably the Katerina. Otherwise, why would he say the Duke shouldn't have said anything?
I mean,
I will check this guy for an ID to see if there's anything that says like Lyran on it.
You know what?
also, call her. Her name's Catherine. Catherine Steiner Davian.
As far as I'm concerned, she's a head bitch.
Well, you got that right.
So, Callum, you seem to be up on this politics shit. What's going on?
Oh, well, Archon Catherine's trying to consolidate her hold on the realm right now. Victor put his sister in charge. His other sister, 'cause she's obviously his sister too, but he put Yvonne in charge, and she didn't really do a great job, and so she kind of asked her older sister for help. And people like the Duke, it doesn't sit well to have somebody who just calls himself a Steiner telling them what to do.
So what you're telling me is that Catherine is trying to take power from someone who is legally put in charge?
Yeah, and Victor's not going to do anything about it because he's the presenter marshal of Comstar now, and he's out of politics.
That's a place I'd like to be, honestly.
Point is that right now we're in the eye of what is bound to be a firestorm. I say we wait until the authorities get here. Hopefully they'll be coming with more arms that we can get out of here safely, and then we get off of planet. I don't think that being in the middle of the, or well, at least get to the army base.
Get off planet?
Well, let us
what the hell are you
but
talking
no,
about?
but-
Yinny jumps in. She's like, no, what if there's people trying to we're freaking Delta Company. We're Palace Guard. Like we gotta defend the what do you mean get off planet? And she looks upset by this.
No one's going anywhere. We're Palace Guard. We're here to defend the Duke. But I need you to do something very important.
And I'd like to pivot over to Cyprian, who just made a message in the chat, in the Roll20. What is on the paper, Cyprian? What does it say?
He has written down his mum's address and a contact phone number, and has told the girl to basically go and get her brother, call that number, and tell his mum that that I'd sent her to lay low for a bit, and just to somewhere safe that is, or at least more safe than this bar, because he wants to get her out of the bar before the military police come, because otherwise she's going to be embroiled in this whole thing and she's going to end up in questioning.
I'm not even going to make a check for that because I think that's awesome. And she looks at the note, and she's still obviously shaken. Yinny is with her. And are you trying to be secretive about it, or are you being very much in the open?
No, I'm just being very much in the open,
okay,
but
perfect.
I'm being just very like calm, like, no, calm down. Just go and do this. Get your brother.
Yeah.
Phone the number. Don't talk to anybody. Just go there.
Do you want me to come with you? What was your name again? And the girl's like, Samantha. And Yinny looks over as Willow approaches, and Willow says, you needed her to do something?
Yes. Get her out of here. She shouldn't be here when the MP show up.
I can do that. And she looks over. Did anybody grab Alan? You just made sure he was okay,
Yeah.
right? Okay. All right. Perfect.
I just shoved him into one of the booths on the chair, so he's like
just,
upright.
He's like upright, and he's unconscious still, but you made sure he's not bleeding out and dying. So Yinny takes the girl by the hand and says, "Come on, let's get out of here." And Yinny and the girl are going to exit. And it leaves you guys just a couple of minutes left. And I'm just curious if you have any other conversations you want to have in this moment prior to the military police showing up.
I'm going to, seeing that I'm going to search the guy over once again, not looking for an ID, but checking his arm because Willow told me to shoot him in the arm.
Interesting. So you find a futuristic, well, sci-fi futuristic 80s cell phone.
It's a Nokia.
Future 80s.
Yeah,
It's
future
a
80s cell
3210.
phone. It is, exactly. Yeah, it's a big, it's like, no.
It's been
So
around. It's one of the actual 32.
So he
it's been around for
has-
so long.
On his arm, there is a leather wrap, and it's got a plastic little covering, and this phone has been put into it so that he can reach back and interact with it somewhat secretively. And there's an open call going on right now, and it appears that it has not ended the entire time, but there's an open call, and you can see it's to an unlisted number, but it is still on. And on the other, as you maybe pull it up, you can hear just a very quiet breathing on the other side.
I'm going to pull off the phone and then show it to everybody and just say,
Cyprian's going to immediately jump in and just put his finger to his lips and then walk over and take the phone and start tinkering about, because he spent most of his childhood messing about with various bits of tech. So he wants to see if he can trace this number.
Yep.
love
I will let
that.
him do that.
I love that. Right, Bran, let's have you make a check. And if I'm not mistaken, let me actually just grab your character sheet here really quick. I'm going to have you roll a technician check. That's what you're going to roll here. I think that is brilliant. Now, it's not going to be too easy. But actually, maybe it will be. Because apparently I can't roll for garbage. That's a 5, 3, and a 2. Wow.
So is that the skill bonus twice or just the skill bonus
No, just
once?
a skill bonus when you're doing this. So 2d6 plus the 6 for your skill bonus. Yep.
I get +1 because I have tech empathy.
Let's go. I like it. Oh, nice. So, like you've described yourself, Cyprian, as being a little bit awkward and clunky when you're in the cockpit of a mech. You watch as you slide into this booth. You take the phone apart, keeping it working. You take off the back. You start messing around with some different wires. Maybe you pull out your own portable device. You hook it up, and you guys see as it's like a symphony. He is just in his zone, in his element. And a minute later, you hear the sirens of the military police approaching outside, but you get a trace. And the trace is about 20 miles outside of the city, and an area of the surrounding, I guess, evrons, as it were, that is supposedly just forest, supposedly just nature. There's no cities, there's no towns there, but you get a trace. As soon as you get that trace, you get the location, you get the coordinates, the call cuts out. But you have those coordinates.
He's just going to tell everybody what the coordinates are and then sort of slide back and sit quietly on one of the booth chairs waiting for somebody to tell him what to do next.
Do we let the MPs handle it, or do we request this mission? This falls under our purview.
I agree. I say we get back to the mech bay and then we hit him with everything we have. Or, well, can we request a reconnaissance flight to go over the area and see what they have? I don't want to be running off into the, excuse me, into the arms of a timber wolf.
I don't know what a timber wolf is, but I agree.
It's a big, angry mech with a lot of weapons. It's a mad cat.
Might be better to just go. We don't know who else might be in on this. What if somebody on the inside tips these people off?
It's possible, but if we're going to do this, we have to do it right. And so we should send out reconnaissance, high altitude drones. That way they won't be seen, they can't be heard. And then we set off as soon as we get that information back. And
you hear Alan's phone go off. It rings. Obviously, he's unconscious. Rings 4 times. And then next up, it's actually Callum's phone that goes off. It's ping, 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 ping. It's actually George calling. And he's on the other line, and he's breathing kind of heavy. And he goes, "Oh, thank God, Callum. What the hell's going on? Did you see that explosion? I was with Helen, and we just got a phone call from Yinny. She said shit's hit the fan. What the hell's going on, man?"
I need you to calm down, George. Before we do anything, just understand you have horrible taste in bars.
Silence and a heavy sigh on the other. Well, then a heavy sigh on the other end.
Second, you missed a hell of an evening.
But is everybody okay? She said Alan was hurt.
He's going to be okay. He's out right now. He'll be fine. But there's some stuff that we need to talk about when we get back to base.
I got shot twice.
Is that Willow?
Yeah, you're
okay?
fine. Yeah, he's fine. You're fine.
He was standing in the window.
Don't tell me I'm fine. I got shot.
And
I checked you over.
If you're okay enough,
fine.
if you're okay enough to bitch, you're okay.
And with that, I think it's a good moment to have you all gather up. You know, you pick up Alan, you head back to the pack rat, not the rat pack, the pack rat. I got it right.
This guy.
I'm learning.
Skynet,
I'm
Skynet,
learning.
Skynet is learning.
I'm learning.
It's becoming self-aware.
Just a
You
neural
all
net
head back
processor.
to Delta Company base, and back at Delta Company base, we're actually going to. It's gonna be a day or two after you guys have returned, but I want to give you all a chance when you were like first returned. If there's any scenes, any other conversations you want to have, to obviously get a chance to have those.
I want to do something before we even hit this, which is
Okay.
make sure that, when the MPs showed up to extract us, we handed off the guy.
Well, here's my
filled him
question.
in.
There was two different ideas. One of them was to wait for the MPs. Callum had suggested you leave before the MPs arrive because you don't know who's in on it. So, which of the two options are you all doing?
Willow would have said to wait for the MPs.
Okay.
That was his.
I-
That would be his decision.
I kind of agree with waiting for the MPs, but we just say, yeah, they
And my
ambushed us.
and just to clarify, my suggestion wasn't to leave the scene of a crime before the MPs
Okay,
arrive.
perfect.
It was to hit back to the base, and as soon as we hit the base, get clearance to go power up and go check out what this site is 20 miles, away or whatever. But yeah, no, fully in favor of waiting for the MPs.
Okay, excellent.
Yeah.
And so you wait for the MPs, you fill them in. They question you. It's not super intense. I mean, you have the status being Mechwarriors. You have the status being in the Mechwarrior
And we've got the
Academy.
bodies too.
And you've got the bodies, right? So that is what it is. And they talk with you for about 15 minutes. It's actually it feels kind of. It almost feels like they're kind of being a little lax about it, like a little lackadaisical, but not in a like suspicious way. It's just, well, I mean, shit happens, people die, and thank you for bringing this to our attention. But they, question you. You leave out details of the girl, correct? Just the young girl,
Oh, yeah.
Samantha?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So as you do that, you guys all then head back to the base, and when you return to the base, I'm assuming you approach the sergeant to ask for permission to head off to go investigate this.
One
Go
thing on the way back to the base, Cyprian's going to call his dad and fill him in on what we know, and basically tell him that the girl's going to be there. Give her safe passage, look after her. She may be important in whatever is happening, and fill him in on the whole, whatever the guy whittering on about, Katrina and all the rest of it. But tell him, because obviously he's a ex-military guy, but to be careful of who he talks to and only talk to people that he completely trusts.
Your father tries to press you for like, what have you gotten yourself into? But the urgency in your voice, and maybe this is one of the first times, your dad's always been, based on your description, and you can stop me if this isn't correct, Cyprian, but your dad's been kind of pushy with regards to, you're going to be a mech pilot, you're going to follow the family, line. This is what we do. This is what our family does. This is what Devons do. And he starts to question, but then that questioning tone actually turns into what sounds like he's proud of you. And he asks you, you're actually taking this seriously, aren't you, son?
Cyprian will tell him that so I'm assuming, would Cyprian know that the place that got bombed would have been the Palace Guard?
Yeah, Willow filled you in on that. Yeah, absolutely.
So he'll tell him that that's the place that got bombed.
And your father, who's not a man that is often at loss for words, is in this moment at a loss for words. And after a few moments of silence, he says, "You get the bastards who did this. You get them. You fucking end them."
He's gonna just say, was it Samantha, girl's name? Just keep Samantha safe. She's gonna be coming with her brother, and then hang up.
And then he hangs up, and you guys head back to the base. So when you first return to the base, I mean, it is like 2 a.m. in the morning. It's very late. and you rouse the sergeant. The sergeant has just a myriad of questions. He's, like, what the hell happened? And you're just giving all this info. And despite your request of, we want to go out, we want to hit this right now, the sergeant says, I'm going to contact higher ups. We're going to sit on this for now. But believe you me, as soon as I have any solid information, you all will be the first to know. And if you can be involved in this, you will. Is that understood, soldiers?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And with that, you meet up with George. You meet up with Helen. You fill everybody in on what's transpired. And we're going to pivot to the next day, because I think you all need a good night's rest. Maybe you're a little fired up. Maybe you don't get rest. That is your choice to make. But we're actually going to pivot to the next day. And when you wake up, you go through your morning routines, check your mechs, the mech techs are making sure everything's up and running. The sergeant is surprisingly absent in the morning. And I'm curious, would you all go looking for him? Would you be just going about your daily routines? How would you all react the morning after these events?
Well, routines are important for mental patients. I think all soldiers are basically mental patients.
It's fair. It's absolutely
So.
fair. I like that. I think that makes a lot of sense. Very good.
We're just going through his morning routine.
So anybody else have anything different that they'd be doing, or just morning routines, doing what you're going to do, getting back to basics, getting back to standard, as it were?
Yeah, I think Callum wants to know where the sergeant is.
Okay. So you start asking around where the sergeant is, and Richie doesn't know where he is. Tom hasn't seen him. Dina hasn't seen him. Yinny hasn't seen him. Alan is actually in the med bay. He's getting some healing. He's been conscious. He's gonna make it. He's gonna need probably a good 2 weeks of recovery, maybe 3. Helen hasn't seen him, and in fact, no one's seen where he went off to. But he's been gone since late last night, and it's 6 a.m. in the morning. He hasn't returned, and no one seems nervous about it. But I'd like you to go ahead and... Do you have any sort of investigation skills? Do you have streetwise?
I have tracking.
Tracking? I'd like you to roll a tracking check and then narratively tell me how you would go about tracking the sergeant.
Sure. Oof.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
That's success. Okay.
Callum's going to go through the CCTV footage of the base to find out if he left base, if he did, what vehicle, in what direction, and
he left very shortly after your conversation with him last night.
Mhm.
He headed out in a truck, and it almost looked like a civilian truck, and he headed towards the Capitol. Is the direction that he headed towards.
Okay.
Cyprian's going to tell Callum to check if there's any tracking on his phone, or if there's anything that we can actually see where he is now.
Oh, okay. I don't really know how.
So you'll be in, I'm guessing, the office. Where's the security booth down there?
So there's it's like a gray box, and there's just a circle spinning, and it isn't letting me do anything. And that's telling me I need to download Real Player 7.
Oh, you don't want that. You want VLC. Click cancel on that.
Really
I did. It's not working. I apparently have won some kind of raffle of 5. This computer has a bunch of viruses too. Apparently, I'm gonna click this. They said they're gonna fix it.
It's just $29.99, and they'll get rid of all the viruses on my computer.
Apparently, I have a long lost relative on Canopus that needs my help transferring 55 million C-bills, and he just needs my banking information. And when it all goes through, I'll keep half.
You can retire.
The crux of this is Callum is not good with computers unless it's like a mech targeting system.
I like it. I like it. That is hilarious. That is hilarious. So, Cyprian, do you want to step in and maybe offer some assistance?
He'll push him out of the way and be like, "Why are you clicking that? Stop clicking that's pop-ups." And then
it's reflex.
Yeah. And then he'll roll
Classic.
tech. Roll technician.
Yeah, absolutely. That is a success. So you actually do find where the sergeant is, and the sergeant is currently in the palace, in the capital.
Okay.
And nothing per se out of the ordinary with that, but yeah, he's there, and yeah, that's what you find out.
So hurry up and wait. All right.
Guess so.
The rest of the day goes by at a slow crawl. I mean, you are waiting, midday comes, you have lunch. Maybe you do some target practicing. Maybe you even take your mechs out for a quick spin. You are waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting. And it is 8:30 at night before the sergeant actually returns. And when he returns, he looks haggard. He looks, he'll oftentimes, stand in front of you. He's got a cigar in his mouth. He looks just like he's having the time of his life. He looks haggard. His, normal, very fastidiously put together fatigues. The top button is undone. And he, you hear the truck approach. Everyone maybe lines up like expectation to, oh, hey, this is finally happening. And, truck pulls into the bay, parks it over yonder. And as he does so, he steps out of the truck, looks at all of you, and just raises one finger, walks over, goes into the little control room office. He's in there for a while. He's in there for another maybe 5, 6, then 7 minutes. And then when he steps back out, he looks a little more put together. And he stammers. Mechwarriors, attention! Asks you all to line up in front of him. It is never easy. And he is, you can see he's upset. His eyes are actually like moist. He looks like his dog just died. I mean, for lack of a better phrase, he looks shaken. And he goes to reach into his pocket to pull out a cigar. His hand is shaking. And he puts it back. That building in the city that was destroyed. There were 22 of the palace guards, friends of mine, mech pilots that I have and had served with, and we still don't know who did this. I have what may be considered good news for all of you. You are getting an early graduation. Both because you've all performed admirably during your training, but also out of pure necessity. You're being tasked with your first mission as official palace guards. You, Delta Company A, will be heading off to investigate the coordinates that our Cyprian here discovered. Delta Company B, you'll be heading off to the palace to reinforce the remaining members of the palace guard. Get ready. I'll give you your full mission briefing here momentarily. Dismissed. And he heads back to his office and closes the door behind him, leaving you all to talk. George, Helen, Yinny, there's a mixture of like, is this a good thing? Is this a bad thing? 22? And you would know that of the palace guard, there's at any given point, maybe 30 of them. And so more than half were killed in that explosion. And yeah, that's a thing. So I want to leave that with you all.
Well, congratulations, everyone.
Yeah. That severely weakens our position, doesn't it?
Well, not if we stamp out this problem before it has a chance to really sprout.
I don't know. If they're already bombing Palace Guard, underground Palace Guard hangouts, I don't know if there's any stamping out this problem. I think the weeds have already taken hold.
Well, then there's only one thing we can do,
Get revenge.
and
I-
stick together.
I thought you were going to say do our job, but I guess we could do that too.
Do our job for as long as we have one officially.
Yeah, that's what I'm worried about. I didn't actually expect. I didn't expect to see any action as I took this job. So
Thought it was going to be a parade post, huh?
yeah, a little bit. But life is like that.
Don't sell yourself short. Willow, you're not half bad in the cockpit when you're not getting limbs shot off.
Yeah, someone needs to be a target.
But oddly enough, when you're outside the cockpit, you're much better at removing limbs from people. So I guess maybe it all equals out.
I'd say so.
He did get shot in the arm, though.
And the collarbone. That hurt a lot.
Was it the same one as the mech, or was it a different side?
I think it was the other side. You make a L with your hand.
Yinny chimes in. George and Helen are actually laughing. Not like gregariously, but they're chuckling to themselves. And Yinny chimes in. Well, I guess that's at least keeping you balanced.
Yeah. Although I have to admit, I'm a little jealous of your posting. I'd much rather be standing at the palace.
I'd rather be going to do what you did. I mean, these fuckers nearly killed you, and they nearly put George out of action. I for one, not George, Alan. Fuck, I keep doing that. They actually almost put Alan out of action. George pipes in, yeah, I want to get these guys. Helen pipes in, hell yeah, screw these guys. I'm going to try to convince the sergeant to let us come with you. And you see Helen actually starts to get ready to move off towards the door. I'm curious if anyone stops her.
Maybe not. Listen, we've just heard most of the mech pilots are dead. Who's going to guard the palace? Who's going to guard the Duke? We need good, solid, dependable mech pilots there. And I can't think of any better, more solid, more dependable mech pilots than you four.
Besides, if they get past us, then you'll get your chance.
Well, says George, let's hope they don't get past you. and they're all gonna, approach you and kind of one by one shake hands. There's some congratulations. There is a bit of a somber tone to those congratulations as they do this. And as you all pivot out and head back to your mechs, start to get ready for what is to come, we pivot over. The camera kind of zooms out from you guys. We pivot over and we actually go over to the office where the Sergeant Gerard is sitting at his desk, and he is holding a picture frame in his hands, and we see it is a graduating class from 20 years ago, and you see it's just like a bunch of mech pilots arms around each other, and our last scene is one single tear dropping from his eye, plinking onto the glass of that picture frame. And that is actually where we'll end session 3 of Salvaged Destiny. Really good job, everybody. Thank you for playing.
Nice.
Yeah. I'm really impressed with the rolls that you guys had today. I wasn't sure because I haven't really run a lot of like hand-to-hand combat, like person-to-person combat in this system actually ever. And it's it can go very fast. The one thing I will say, just as like a suggestion to the group, is don't be afraid to spend those plot points. Don't be afraid to spend that edge. It's a reasonable resource. You get it back at the start of every session, and it can be really fun. I like to think of it as kind of it's a conversation. It's a back and forth. You give me, you spend the plot points, and it gives me a chance to spend plot points to do some fuckery. But it's a nice balancing thing back and forth. But I thought you guys did a great job of leveraging them today, and also just really good job staying in character, staying true to your characters. I'm constantly impressed with you guys, so I appreciate it. And also, Aaron, thank you so much for knowing so much about the lore. I appreciate it. I love BattleTech, and I'm learning. It's a pack rat, not a rat pack. It's actually, both names are correct, Katrina and Catherine. Both names are technically correct, but it's really cool to have a true BattleTech buff with us. So I appreciate you playing, of course, and everyone else obviously as well. But in the meantime, thank you to all our viewers for watching and stopping in today. You'll see these fine gentlemen back here next Saturday, 2 p.m. for session 4 of Mechwarrior Destiny Salvaged Destiny, where they're going to be going to investigate some coordinates, and we're going to get back into the cockpits of some battle mechs, and we're going to see how that plays out. But I'm really excited. Any final thoughts, questions, comments, or concerns from our Mechwarriors today?
No, I'm good.
Awesome.
The only thing that I can think of is I want to reconfigure my mech. How much XP would that be to change it?
Whatever it says in the book. I think you have to spend XP, so I'm not sure offhand. But
I think it's 1 XP to repair. So
you know what?
Okay.
We'll talk about that off stream, and we'll make it happen. But as I always say to everybody, thank you so much for watching, and happy gaming. We will catch you all next time, and I'll actually be back here in about 4.5, 5 hours for a Pathfinder 1E one-shot, the Menagerie, that's being run by our very own Jester Jasper, who plays in Rise of the Runelords. Rise of the Runelords will not be here tonight, but we will have that fun Pathfinder 1E game, which I get to be a player in, and I never get to play Pathfinder, so I'm super excited. But enough about me. Goodbye, everybody.